battery storage, can be power storage, gas or thermal storage. And we are looking, of course, at the possibility to control and optimize the loads that would be, of course, more or less flexible or more or less critical according to the application. The beauty of MicroGrid is that it can apply to various applications. We can have MicroGrid for an off-grid site that can be typically factories in remote Indonesia where there is no connection to existing grid and where you have to rely 100% on the local generation in order to power the loads. We can apply as well this type of technology to grid-connected facilities that can be typically factories, I don't know, within Greater Jakarta, for example. And in between the two, we apply also this type of technology and this type of solution for the so-called islandable microgrid. So this would be mainly for location, let's say facilities located in places where the grid may not be, it will be existing but may not be very reliable. So in normal condition, you generate some electricity locally, you import the rest from the grid. But in case of grid outage, we have the ability to automatically disconnect your factory or your site from the grid and keep running the most critical loads using the available local generation. So microgrid is quite a fancy topic, but we see it really driven by some of the drivers that you can see on the slide. The main one, I would say, that come all the time will be reliability, sustainability, and savings. And probably this would be three words that you have heard a lot this morning, and you will keep hearing in the coming days as well, because this is a challenge that we see from most of the customers that we have, and where we are looking to apply solution to help the customer or the partners to overcome these issues. The reliability issue would be typically, as I mentioned, remote facilities in remote Indonesia that would be facing issue from the grid. So if you lose the grid, you may have some backup generation, but this will probably impact your business continuity and at the end result in losses. So by having some local generation and by having as well some, I would say, advanced control and optimization solution, you can help to increase and having a better business continuity in your site. The second one is sustainability, and this is something that we see really increasing also when we discuss with the customer. The idea and the ambition to reduce or at least to limit the impact on the environment and the interest to promote the company as a greener company and to typically install some renewable energy within some of the facilities. The last one, more toward, I would say, overall savings. So thanks to the new technology and the new use case, along with new regulation in every country, there are some ways now to better manage typically the peak shaving of an industrial site, or if you have dynamic tariff from the grid also, there is ways to play a bit with this and to ensure some deeper savings for the customer. So if I take a typical example of microgrid applied for industrial facilities, when we talk about capacity like few hundred kilowatt or megawatt generation, we are used to work with partners. So for Schneider Electric, our main focus would be number one, I would say on the solution, the software that will do monitoring, control, and optimization of the distributed energy resources. So this is like the brain of the system that we have solution for that. The second biggest package would be toward the electrical distribution. So that would be all of the existing low voltage or medium voltage equipment that may be required to integrate these distributed energy resources. More and more, we are also promoting a solution for battery storage that we package along with the microgrid controller typically in order to provide more flexibility on the site. And then on top of that, we can include, I would say, different solution or different equipment part of Schneider Electric scope that we can, at the end, link to the microgrid itself. So I'm thinking a building management system for a microgrid applied for a building, for example, is a good example in a way that we can interface the microgrid control solution to the BMS in order to optimize and to control the HVAC, for example, according to the weather forecast or according to the peak of the demand. And on top of that, we also provide, I would say, some early stage consulting or early stage feasibility study that will see also quite of interest for all of the customers interested into microgrid, but that may not be yet expert or yet fully convinced about the topic. So this, I would say, 5 bullet point would be the main scope of Schneider Electric, and then we will be working along with partners in order to provide a turnkey microgrid system at a competitive cost. So if I zoom in a bit into the solution that we have specifically for microgrid, on purpose, I don't spend too much time because I hope that you will have some question and some further interest, and that I will have the opportunity in the booth to further discuss the topic with you. But this one is the Schneider Electric digital ecosystem that has been introduced previously. And when we look at this from the microgrid perspective, we have the different solution and equipment that I mentioned previously. At the connected product layer, we have DLV, DMV equipment, and then we ensure, of course, the integration of third-party equipment. At the edge control layer, we have some microgrid controller and SCADA technology on site, real time, in order to manage typically a site that will be off the grid, not connected to any transmission line, and that can manage as well the islanding use case. So for a site that would be connected to a grid, but in case of blackout, we use this kind of solution to automatically detect, seamlessly transition from connected to the grid to off-grid, and then manage to power the most critical loads using the available generation. And on top of that, we have our cloud-based microgrid solution that is it's kind of machine learning solution that is able to forecast how much you will produce and how much you will consume locally on your site. And based on that, it will further optimize how to control the distributed energy resources that you have on site. So this is a bit the suite for solution for microgrid that we have. We are showing the edge control microgrid operation and the app and analytics microgrid advisor in the booth. So happy to give you a quick demonstration and further explanation after this presentation. In terms of references that we have, I wanted to show this one. It's in Thailand. It's not food and beverage application, sorry for that, but the philosophy at the end is quite similar. This is what we have done in one of the Schneider Electric factories, so similar as Batam that have been introduced previously, where we have installed solar PV, so close to 700 kilowatt capacity. And this is in order also for us as a company to be more sustainable and to reach our global company target to be completely carbon neutral by 2030. So we have installed the PV on the rooftop, as you can see. And then we have installed as well the edge control solution and app analytics solution. So in normal condition, where the grid is working normally, we produce electricity on site. We import the rest from the grid, and then we use this cloud-based solution in order to optimize the battery to make sure that the battery will be ready to absorb the peak of the factory. And here in this case, we have dynamic price of electricity from the grid. So we make sure that the battery storage will be filled when the price of electricity is low. And when the price of electricity becomes higher, instead of importing as much electricity from the grid, we use this battery storage to re-inject the electricity to power the load. So this is when everything is going well, and when there is a blackout from the grid, we use our edge control solution to automatically disconnect the site, and we use, in this case, the battery storage to do a seamless transition and making sure that we can power the most critical loads using the battery storage, the PV, and later on the backup genset in order to ensure as much business continuity as we can. Before showing you the second references, it has been mentioned this morning that as a company we are investing 5% of our revenue into R&D in order to make sure that we have that we bring innovation and that we have a state-of-the-art solution and technology. But what we are also doing for MicroGrid is trying to innovate in terms of business model. So the second references that I wanted to show has been done toward what we call energy as a services business model. So in this case, we can call it MicroGrid as a services. So this is a project that has been done in the US. Here again, it's not food and beverage application, sorry for that, but the philosophy would be the same. So the customer pain point, I would say, are quite usual. They have aging infrastructure, they have issues on the grid, they have sustainability targets, so they wanted to integrate renewable and to have let's say a cleaner energy production. So I would say this is quite standard from what we see in general. But here the main customer point is that they had no capex available to invest on the project. And when we meet customers either in Southeast Asia and food and beverage and even within the other industry, this is something that is quite common feedback, that everyone would be interested, of course, to be more sustainable, more reliable, and to make some savings, but not everyone has the ability to pay the upfront capex that can be relatively high, because if we talk about solar installation and if we talk about battery storage, the capex can be a problem toward the development and the installation of MicroGrid. So in this case, we have been working with a third-party investment company who has invested and who is operating the MicroGrid on behalf of the customer. And the customer is, I would say, simply paying on a monthly or yearly basis over maybe 20, 15 or 20 years to the investment company. So this is a win-win situation, because the end user is capable to I would say, enjoy the benefit of the MicroGrid, but without paying the upfront investment, and to use, I would say, an OPEX business model rather than a bit traditional CAPEX business model. And it's win-win situation, because at the end, for Schneider and for the third-party investment company, we are still doing the business. And I wanted to touch base about this concept of energy or MicroGrid as a services, because this is what we see as being a huge driver toward the large-scale development of MicroGrid, and this is what we see being very, very common now in North America and in the European market. Maybe just one last slide to hopefully, I would say, further convince you and let's say, convince you about our ambition and our seriousness to develop MicroGrid project. We have been rewarded in 2018 as the number 2 company in terms of microgrid control technology. And on top of that, I would say that we can, as a company, rely on our strong experience into the energy management and automation with the, 100+ years existence of the company. We have developed and we have a large install base of microgrid through the various segments around the world. So North America and Europe would probably be, as of today, the most mature market for the microgrid, but we are seeing an increasing interest and an increasing number of opportunities in Southeast Asia. And I would also emphasize, and this has been said many times this morning, but really emphasize about our ability to work with partners, which is very important in business in general, but probably it might be even more important for microgrid, because when we talk about a megawatt turnkey system microgrid, especially at a competitive cost, I'm not sure there would be many companies capable of doing it. So we have our focus on the software, on the electrical distribution, and then we work with partners that would be expert and competitive in their scope in order to provide to the customer a reliable and competitive microgrid system. Yep, that's all for me. If you have any interest, or if you want to get to see our solution, please feel free to come in our booth. We are located just on the left when you leave the room. And of course, if you have any short-term opportunities, or if you're willing to test and to implement microgrid in some of your facilities, then happy to engage the discussion with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Okay, our last presenter for this afternoon's session is Kiran Babu Inala, and he's going to take us through Industrial Edge, which is going to be extremely exciting, I'm sure. Thank you, Kiran.
Thank you. Oh, this has been a challenging task for me almost at 4 o'clock. Okay, a very warm welcome again, everyone, and very good afternoon. Let me quickly take you through the journey on Industrial Edge. Within Schneider Edge, we have classified into multiple quadrants, I should say. There's something called Local Edge, which is basically for our distributed IT. And there's something called the Industrial Edge, which is leveraging the Industry 4.0 or IIoT as a trend. And there's another quadrant which is called the Telecom Edge, which is leveraging the 5G rollout. Okay, before I start off, you have seen some exciting presentations in the morning today. You have heard what are the drivers for food and beverages industry, what challenges you guys are going through, and as an organization, Schneider and our partners, how would we help you to address most of them? So quickly to start with, okay. That's quick, okay. So these are a couple of trends which all of you are aware of, okay. What we are looking at is content distribution, something very similar to Netflix, and you have some local system available locally here also, which is a pretty much developed technology or a trend which is actually ongoing. And there are a lot of other trends which are actually listed on this slide, right from a digital factory, which our team have talked about, smart utilities, your drones and intelligent systems, smart cities, and the power of AI, okay, and the machine learning. These are all pretty common trends, and we need to see as a group, how do we leverage and make this a big business opportunity for all of us moving forward. What is important to know on this slide is the data points here. 180 trillion gigabyte of data. Do you know how many zeros are there when you count on zettabyte? It's plenty. So it's a huge demand we are going to talk about in the year 2025. 80 billion devices connected on the network. Each one of us, I've been around in Indonesia for the past couple of days. Most of you have 2 devices which are digitally connected, right from smartphones, 2 phones, a tablet. You have 80 billion devices which are potentially getting connected to the network very soon. 232 billion is the amount expected to be spent only on AI. So look at the amount of opportunity which you can actually leverage on. All right? To move forward, all this is happening because of the cloud. A couple of speakers in the morning also have mentioned the emphasis of cloud computing. We've been seeing this particular trend of cloud computing from past couple of years, or I should say almost close to a decade now. A lot of us were actually doubtful whether the cloud will be really successful. Why? Because some industries had the security as one of the primary concern, and we thought that they would never move into the cloud. But what really happened is that cloud gave them a lot of advantages like scalability, flexibility, moving up, growing big, shrinking back, and basically the cost. So industries like telecom, banking, which we thought that never would move into cloud, started moving into it. But what happened is that the cloud originally conceived for some parental applications. I should not say parental, few applications like emails, payrolls, or social media. So for example, if myself and Greg are going for a dinner today, and I see a very good plate of which is served on my table, I take a snap, probably my friends and relatives and all of you can wait for 5 minutes to probably see what I'm eating. But there are some applications in today's digital world which are actually asking for real time, okay? Which means that the traditional way of dealing with cloud might not work. So that's where it has some key imperatives like latency, okay? You understand what latency is, right? When you're playing a video game, if you shoot a bullet, the bullet is keep traveling, but it doesn't hit the target, okay? That's classic. So autonomy, security is one of the primary concern when people are having this in their mind, that what happens to security? Believe me, your cloud providers have the best of security in situations today, but a lot of applications which actually look for real-time application, security, privacy, local regulations in the country is also very critical. Europe or EU has a very strong regulations in place. If the data collected within that country is not residing in the country, the company can be charged heavily. Okay? Bandwidth limitations and interoperability and interactivity is critical because a lot of data is collected. A couple of speakers in the morning also mentioned that if you have too much of data coming in, people get confused. Because whatever sensors are deployed at the edge of the network, it's sent in a different form. Something comes in a kilowatt, something comes in a temperature. So you need to normalize and make sure that this works as a complete system. Okay? These are the key imperatives which a lot of research institutes have been talking about. Let us see how we will actually handle these imperatives going forward. So this is a busy slide. I would like to ask for your attention here. There are a lot of quadrants, I should say here, edge computing, and core. When you say edge, it's something like a physical location where things and people are connected to the digital world. Okay? That is pretty simple, like a sensor or a device which is connected on the network. The middle quadrant is which is called the edge computing. That's where your compute is actually happening. The data which is collected from your edge is actually being analyzed. Little bit of analysis is happening for a real-time application. It is going back to the system, asking them for some immediate decision-making capabilities. But what happens? There's a lot of data coming in. So there is a need of having a core system. This might be your traditional centralized data center or a cloud-based data center where the entire data is collected, normalized, and data scientists are going to look at it, and they're going to do analysis and bring back a beautiful dashboard which starts making a lot of sense. If not, data is always confusing. So there is big data analytics happening at the core level. So these are the three biggest quadrants, I should say. You need to look at it. But what is very important for any organization today is to put all of them together, right from the edge to the core. So you should not look at each of these quadrants as silos, but as a complete ecosystem. How does it work? Okay, so that is what is very important for today's world and today's applications. So a couple of key advantages. I would not like to spend more time of these. As Schneider, you know that we are very much in game in providing you all these advantages with our suite of solutions, which all our presenters have spoke in the morning, right from productivity, your traceability, preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance, or real-time analytics, and even the cloud-based solutions which we provide. So this is a full gamut of product which you can actually take advantage of moving to an edge-based application from Schneider Electric and its partners and solutions on this. So something to sum up, okay, you have been seeing, or you know what's our architecture is all about, EcoStructure, where we're talking about the connected products, edge control, and apps analytics layer. Here I'm trying to reverse it. What we try and do is you're collecting the data from all the sensors, then bringing it back to the edge control where you're making some decisions at real time, and bringing back the data again back into the cloud and apps analytics layer to start making some beautiful dashboards and reports, which will not only be helpful for you to make decision at a right time, but also can give you a historical analysis on what this data can bring in. So no more a post-mortem report. You can actually make some meaningful decisions right then at that point in time, so that you can carry on with the trend and make sure that you can actually meet your customer demand playing with this particular architecture. It's completely aligned with our EcoStruxure architecture going forward, and edge computing is 100% aligned with our EcoStruxure architecture on this. Here, there are also some challenges because in our industrial 4.0 revolution, most of the time it's not like a data center. So your white space are pretty challenging. So a couple of challenges which you see on your left of the screen is that when you're trying to deploy IT, most of these shop floors are not made for IT deployment. So they are pretty rugged in nature. So they are not like a server room or data center, which is pretty secured and clean environments. The second one is the resiliency at the edge. Most of these places are the forgotten equipment for IT. Always a data center has been the most secure place, but when you look at this small 1 rack or 2 racks which is on your shop floor, this is always the forgotten equipment. You never know who is accessing it, what's going inside, how is the networking done, is my equipment in good health, what is the condition. So all this is actually been never taken care of. So that's a big challenge. The third one is something called decentralized where you have a lot of installations on the floor and you never know what's happening where, and it's a pretty much decentralized approach. There is no visibility on ground for you guys. The fourth one is something to do with standardization. Why standardization is becoming very important is because whenever there is a demand, we as customers pick up something which is available for the market and deploy. So by end of the day, what happens when you're trying to troubleshoot any equipment, your site 1 will be with a different equipment and site 3 will be a completely different equipment. It can be with a different alliance partner. The server might be from some XYZ, your software might be for someone else. So it's a big, pretty messy situation. So customers are coming back to us and saying that that is becoming one of their biggest pain area because you cannot have technical manpower sitting at every corner of your installation. You will have the best of the class people sitting at a centralized location, looking at all this data, and they need to troubleshoot. Imagine if there is no standardization, there is a lot of trouble on ground. Okay? So the challenges are very clearly understood here. The solution going forward is on your right, which is nothing but micro data center. What is a micro data center? Micro data center is pretty simple. Any compute network storage which is backed up by physical infrastructure, which is power, cooling, racks, software services. With the help of our alliance partners, we are able to build micro data center solutions which can meet all these challenges which you see on the left. So it can be a pretty secured environment. Once we deliver micro data centers which are pre-integrated, pre-installed and checked and validated by the best-in-class experts, and then the solution is delivered on your site so that there is no surprises on ground. The second one, is on the redundancy. We can actually build redundancy in terms of power, in terms of cooling, in terms of managing and monitoring this mechanism. Everything can be monitored and managed remotely using our EcoStruxure software solution. Last but not the least, there are some tools which I'm going to show you very quickly, which will help you standardize and deploy your solutions across. I'm already mentioned on as a challenge saying that you should know what's actually there on your remote site so that you can troubleshoot faster. All right? So the answer to all these challenges is our EcoStruxure micro data center. So this is actually a full suite of products which we offer under EcoStruxure umbrella for Edge. The first one is called the EcoStruxure for micro data center. Those are pre-integrated, pre-qualified solutions at a rack level, which means the design for the IT is actually done at a rack level. So individually, every rack is configured with power, cooling, monitoring, software, and services. The second one is the row data center, EcoStruxure for row data centers, where the design principle is completely based on the row. How much is the power requirement for that row, cooling requirement for that row, and we can monitor and manage them. The third one is a completely modular design, which is like a prefabricated container. But what you need to understand, in any of these solutions, the common components are what you see on the right. Power, cooling, racks, software services, everything built into it, which means it's peace of mind. All of these components are pretty much in-house for Schneider, And only where there is compute network storage, we try and leverage our partners like Dell, HP, IBM, Fujitsu, Cisco, and any partner which is available in the market. We are 100% compliant with any partner available in the market for IT today. Okay? So I'm also going to share some insights on how our micro data center solutions very different for the ones which are available in the market. So remote monitoring, we have something called EcoStruxure IT, where you can actually monitor all the IT gear available in the rack. There is something Asset Advisor, our presenters also have shared. So our panel of experts who are actually sitting in a service bureau are looking at your data 24/7. And if before something goes wrong, they are going to talk to you and make sure that you are aware that some systems are not working as per the benchmark and something can go wrong, so that you can fix it later. If something is go wrong, those people also can talk to all the alliances partners and will take care of most of the troubleshooting mechanisms by themselves. The second one, of course, we are world leaders for UPS. Okay, we have solutions for UPS along with batteries, along with lead acid and lithium ion, which you can see it on our booths available there. Cooling technologies, we have passive cooling, fan-based cooling, cooling with DX-based machine and the chill water-based machine, which can also be demonstrated. Rack mount PDUs, so we have power distribution units which can be monitored remotely. You can switch on and off an individual socket. You can see how much a power is drawn by one particular server. You can do sequential switch on, sequential switch off, temperature, humidity, noise, airflow, all this monitoring can be done remotely. Last but not the least, the global field services. We have a panel of experts who have been providing these field services and providing support for all you people. IT partners, I should definitely mention them. Our presenters in the morning also mentioned that we as Schneider Electric should partner with or have been partnering with a lot of alliances partners. So for example, today we are partnering with Dell. We have a joint booth with them. Please do visit us to know more about it. So we are trying to make it a complete solution, not only for physical infrastructure, but for your complete IT infrastructure, including compute network storage, which Schneider doesn't deal with. The last one is physical security. Cyber security is a big, big threat. Imagine any component which is physically not secured is never cyber secured. So you are aware that a small thumb drive, you can hook it onto a machine and disturb the entire ecosystem. So physical security is critical, and we have the best-in-class physical security for all of them. And last is the flexible configuration. Depending on your site and your environment, we have a full variety of solutions. It's a suite of solutions depending on your site, environment, condition, right from an in-office environment to a rugged environment or a complete micro data center or even a prefabricated container. So we can give you a full range of solutions available for your customer requirement. All right, this is my last slide. So what we are bringing to you guys is a lot of solutions which are available online. These are the tools which are available online, apc.com or schneiderelectric.com, where you can configure your own solution for budgetary purpose. You can actually check the feasibility of any equipment of any third party, whether it fits into the environment which you're looking at. So those solutions are available, which you can try it out or your partner can help you do it. The one in the middle is about the alliance partners. That's where you can see the solutions. We have alliance partners. There are reference architectures. What is a reference architecture is, along with our partners like Dell, HP, IBM, we have come up with some reference architectures on their specific bill of material. If a X amount of server or a network or storage have to be installed in your environment, we have already designed what sort of power distribution is required, what UPS will go in, what cooling is going. So with a click of a button, you will be able to populate all the bill of material and you can install it on site. Lastly, we have a very big network of partners who are part of IT and OT. There's a big convergence which we are having. We can definitely leverage those partners to make sure that you have best-in-class solution. Yeah, in this event, we are partnering with Dell. They have a booth with their equipment mounted there. We can give you more details on what solutions they have for food and beverages or something very similar to what industries you guys deal with. please do visit us. This is the booth. We are on booth number 15 and 16. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kieran. Okay, just a little bit of logistics. I believe we've got pre-dinner drinks from now for the next hour and a half in the Innovation Hub Marketplace area here, so enjoy a beverage. Explore the booths, the usual stuff, challenge the booth presenters. Some of the topics you've seen today, drill down a bit deeper into it, express your own individual challenges and test the team to see what they can come up with for you. And of course, network with your peers. We then have dinner in here, and I believe the Mulia crew are going to do a miraculous job of transforming, not digitally, but physically, transforming this room with round tables, as per the graphic. And then we have some entertainment for you, and even potentially some very special additional bonus entertainment. So thank you for your attendance today. Please enjoy the pre-dinner drinks, which I'm sure are being served somewhere. And we look forward to seeing you at dinner and then, of course, joining us tomorrow. Thank you.